Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolitz. Hoping that you will not skip my ads. It's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
Zayn Martel was also a decisive person. 76 million crystals was definitely a huge sum. Moreover, Zayn Martel also knew that if he showed too much of his strength, it would definitely cause the higher-ups of the Kangmu Arena to dislike him, and he would be targeted. The situation in the Northern Demon Country was in chaos, and there was still no news of Ezekiel Martel. Therefore, Zayn Martel did not want to make too many enemies.
Thank God! Zayn Martel, you're a good person!
They exclaimed. However, compared to the higher-ups of the Kangmu Arena, the audience was extremely disappointed and puzzled.
Why is he stopping? Even if he loses, he's the first person to challenge crossing 3 levels in the Qing continent, or even the Northern Demon Country.
Yes, but what if he wins? It's going to be another miracle.
Everyone vaguely guessed the reason why Zayn Martel gave up the challenge. Some people believed that Zayn Martel looked fine, but in fact he was seriously injured on the inside. Some people felt that Zayn Martel was worn out. Some of them even thought that Zayn Martel looked down on the people from the Kangmu Arena and that they were too weak for him to make a move. However, only Zayn Martel and a few senior members of the Kangmu Arena knew the true reason.
Zayn Martel, shall I lead you to receive the reward now?
Yes, please.
Soon, Zayn Martel followed the judge to collect the prize. When he returned, he purposely showed off in front of Elora.
Elora, did you see that? Am I the coolest guy ever?
I am always going to be cooler than you!
Zayn Martel, you've done well. I didn't even have your strength back then when I was in the advanced level, but sometimes you need to know how to hide your talent.
Zayn Martel paused for a moment and immediately came to a realization. It seemed that Gabriel Stone had seen through his skills in the use of Colorless World. It made sense. Gabriel Stone used to be a martial king level expert. It would be strange if he did not notice such a strange martial arts technique. However, he was only suspicious and did not know the specifics of the Colorless World.
By the way, Samuel Blake just sent me a voice transmitting talisman, telling you to go back as soon as you are done. He said that he has news about your father.
What? There's news about my father?
Zayn Martel's heart skipped a beat, and then he became ecstatic. Then his heart began to beat wildly, and his whole body began to be nervous and scared.
Hurry, let's head back to the Divine Hawk camp as soon as possible.
Zayn Martel's body could not help but tremble. Was there finally news about his father, Ezekiel Martel? A group of them got in a beast carriage at the entrance and rushed back to the Divine Hawk camp. Soon, they arrived at the Divine Hawk camp. As soon as they got out of the beast carriage, Matthew, the Deputy General of Samuel Blake, was waiting there.
Zayn Martel, the General has ordered me to wait for you here. Please follow me.
Thank you.
Zayn Martel had Elora head back first, and then he hurriedly followed behind Matthew. The place that Samuel Blake had arranged to meet with Zayn Martel this time around was not the inner hall. Instead, it was within the backyard of the Divine Hawk camp. Samuel Blake sat in the pavilion. When he saw Zayn Martel, he immediately stood up and waved his hand. Zayn Martel was impatient. Before he arrived, he immediately asked,
General, do you really have any news about my father, Ezekiel Martel?
Samuel Blake asked Matthew to leave first, and then said with a heavy sigh,
I sent out a lot of people and spent a lot of resources to finally find out some news about your father.
Zayn Martel's body trembled. He held his breath, and his heart began to beat wildly.
How is my father now? Is he still alive?
Samuel Blake thought for a moment and continued.
I have sent people to investigate and even contacted the spies of the 3 northern states. Finally, I found some clues. Your father is very likely to be alive and locked up by the Demon God sect. Even though I don't know why, there seems to be some reason behind it. The Demon God sect wants more than just killing your father.
Zayn Martel's heart trembled, followed by endless killing intent and anger.
Demon God sect.
Zayn Martel roared in his heart. It turned out to be someone from the Demon God sect who imprisoned his father, Ezekiel Martel.
Damn the Demon God sect. Then, do you know where my father is exactly?
Zayn Martel continued to ask. Samuel Blake shook his head and denied.
For now, The only thing I know is that your father is in the Demon God sect. As for the rest, I don't know yet. By the way, my spy told me that recently, a group of people from the Demon God sect entered the Qing continent. They should be heading for the alchemy conference. You have to be careful these days. I don't think they know that you are Ezekiel Martel's son.
Zane Martel nodded. However, he merely laughed coldly and said,
I know that the Demon God sect has entered the Qing continent. I've seen them before.
You've seen them?
Yes, just now I killed one of them. A girl named Qian.
Zane Martel's tone was very calm, as if he had killed an ant. However, Samuel Blake was completely stunned. His eyes were wide open as he stared blankly at Zane Martel.
What did you say? You killed Qian?
That's right. Since she was from the Demon God sect, I guess it's all right that I killed her. If I knew that it was someone from the Demon God sect who attacked my father, I wouldn't have killed her so easily. I should have brought her back here and interrogated her. Maybe I could have gotten something out of her.
Samuel Blake was stunned and kept mocking himself in his heart.
All right, to kill her. How could he describe her death so easily? Qian was one of the top members of the Demon God sect. Moreover, there was definitely more than one person entering the Qing continent from the Demon God sect. If the others were to find out, they would definitely come for Zane Martel. Zane Martel, are there many people who know about this matter? If no one else knows, do not go anywhere until the end of the alchemy conference. Stay in the Divine Hawk camp. No matter how angry the Demon God sect is, they wouldn't dare to openly charge in.
Samuel Blake was worried about Zane Martel. He quietly thought that if there was a witness, he would secretly bring the witness back. If he had no choice, he would kill the witness, just so the news doesn't spread.
I guess there wasn't much. I killed her in the Kangmu arena. There were probably only about 400,000 witnesses.
Hearing this, Samuel Blake almost threw up on the spot.
Only about 400,000 witnesses. Isn't this equivalent to killing someone in front of the Demon God sect? Even if the Divine Hawk camp was the most powerful force in Qing continent, it would be impossible to capture all the 400,000 people and kill them one by one. Zane Martel, you truly are a troublemaker.
Don't worry, General Samuel Blake. I have Senior Gabriel Stone by my side. Even the people in the expert level can't do anything to me. As for the purpose of my father being held by the Demon God sect, I will find out the answer myself.
Zane Martel dismissed himself and left the backyard, leaving Samuel Blake alone, filled with confusion. He repeatedly sighed and mocked himself.
Zane Martel, you are really unpredictable.
Back in his room, Zane Martel jumped into the dragon prison and began to cultivate. These days, Zane Martel felt that his cultivation was getting faster and faster, and his level was also rising very fast. He believed that he must have devoured other people's talents, so his 12-star devouring dragon's celestial body had definitely improved. He was currently in the northern demon country and was in great danger. If he couldn't increase his strength as soon as possible, how would he be able to face the Demon God sect and save Ezekiel Martel? There was still about a month or so until the date of the alchemy conference. In order to find out an answer, Zane Martel had to attend it no matter what. However, in order to prevent the Demon God sect from finding out, he had to use another identity to participate. During this month, as Zane Martel trained, he also studied pill refinement. Other than that, he would occasionally head over to the Alchemist Association. Using the Windfire Alliance as the medium, he maintained the pills and crystal supply between the Alchemist Association and the Divine Hawk Camp. During this period of time, the Teng family's Chamber of Commerce was searching for information and the address of Windfire Alliance. They would never expect that the Windfire Alliance was just located opposite them. After a month of training, the vital energy in Zane Martel's body had solidified greatly, and he finally stepped into the 7th level of the advanced level. As for the others, they did not slack either. Elora had actually reached the 5th level of the advanced level in a short amount of time, and Gabriel Stone's strength had also slowly recovered. He began to advance to the semi-martial king level. Zane Martel speculated that if the northern demon country didn't have a martial king level expert, Gabriel Stone would be able to crush the entire northern demon country. Due to the event of the alchemy conference, more and more people swarmed into the Qing continent. Not only were there people from the demon god sect, But there were also many alchemists entering from the two most chaotic places, Glimmer Continent and FA Continent. The whole Qing continent buzzed with excitement as the day of the alchemy conference arrived. Zane Martel emerged from the dragon prison, disguising himself as an old man in his 70s with the Dark Wolf mask. Hurriedly, he made his way to the venue. The organizer of the alchemy conference was the Alchemist Association of the Qing continent, and Zane Martel knew it would be held at the Seven Stars Square. The streets were thronged with people, especially alchemists in their robes who usually kept a low profile, but now moved in groups. They were heading towards the heart of the continent, the Seven Stars Square. Other than the alchemists, many spectators gathered as well. Young ladies admired the alchemists, while some young men saw them as role models despite having lower martial arts levels. To many, being an alchemist was a revered profession, capable of garnering offers from prestigious sects and families. Approaching the Seven Stars Square, Zane Martel marveled at its magnificence. The structure towered over 60 meters high, with a diameter of several hundred meters. The stands were packed with over 300,000 spectators. The square was divided into two passages, one exclusive for alchemists and the other for the general crowd, which was more congested. Zane Martel navigated towards the Alchemist's Passage, where two members of the Alchemist Association awaited. Next to them, a large crystal ball lay on the ground, a device to test the willpower energy of those entering. Each alchemist had to place their hand on the crystal ball for testing. This measure aimed to prevent non-alchemists from infiltrating the conference. Since alchemists typically possess stronger willpower than others of the same level, the device quickly distinguished genuine alchemists from imposters.
Intermediate level, common grade, high level, pass.
Next.
The two members continued to take the test for the people who entered. A big man walked up and put his hand on the crystal ball. Soon, a pale yellow light appeared on the crystal ball.
Advanced level, willpower level, extraordinary level, pass.
Then the big man walked into the conference. In front of Zane Martel, a middle-aged man who appeared to be in his early 30s, took the initiative to greet Zane Martel and spoke in a friendly manner.
Hello, you must be here to attend the Alchemy Conference too. My name is Brandon Hayes, an alchemist of the Chen family in Qing Continent.
The usually arrogant alchemist didn't dare to act presumptuously here because any humble or even sloppy person here could be an alchemy expert. Some alchemists who were worshipped by their families would also take this opportunity to rope some powerful alchemists into their families.
My name is Lai. I've just arrived in the Qing continent.
Really? Once the Alchemy Conference ends, if you ever face any trouble in the Qing Continent, feel free to come to see me in the Chen family. We could be friends, and if you're willing to, I can introduce you to a job position as the Chen family alchemist.
Brandon Hayes' eyes lit up, and he started to explain everything about the Chen family. Zane Martel just smiled and paid not much attention to him. Finally, it was Brandon Hayes and Zane Martel's turn to test their willpower. Brandon Hayes put his hand on the crystal ball, and suddenly a dark yellow light appeared.
Advanced level, extraordinary level, pass.
Brandon Hayes looked proud. Then he began to brag about himself.
My dear friend Lai, although my pill refinement skills are ordinary, they are ranked among the top in the Qing continent. In addition, I plan to participate in the Alchemist test in the coming 6 months. Maybe I can even join the Alchemist Association.
The Alchemist Association was the sacred ground in the hearts of countless alchemists. They would do anything to get into it. Zane Martel walked up with a smile. It was his turn next.
Please put your hand on the crystal ball. We will test your willpower level.
Due to Zane Martel changing his appearance and disguising his voice at this moment, these two people did not know that the old man in front of him was the Grandmaster Zane they've been talking about. Zane Martel placed his hand on the crystal ball. He felt a cold breeze, after which he felt the willpower in his mind being attracted. The crystal ball in front of him shook, and then its color began to change wildly. White, yellow, green, cyan, red. The movement was getting bigger and bigger, and the speed of change was getting faster and faster. In the end, it stopped on dark purple.
Purple. It's purple.
What's wrong? Do I not pass the test?
Zane Martel frowned and asked Diffusion. He didn't know the standard of the crystal ball test, so he didn't know what level of his willpower was. However, in his opinion, he should be a little stronger than the extraordinary level. Suddenly, the two members were dumbfounded. They opened their mouths wide, thinking that something was wrong with the crystal ball.
No, Senior. Your level of spirit power has passed. Advanced level. Willpower at Wandering Soul level. You may enter the conference now, Senior.
When many people heard the words of these two members, they immediately became noisy.
What, Wandering Soul level? Is this true?
I don't believe it.
Even the warriors of the expert level may not even achieve the willpower level of the Wandering Soul level. If he truly was in the Wandering Soul level, what would his strength be like?
Oh my, there is an alchemy expert in front of us right now. I have to get to know him.
They chattered non-stop, and the only thing in common was that they all stared at Zane Martel with admiration. As for Brandon Hayes, he was trembling all over, and his face was full of astonishment. How could he brag in front of an alchemy expert? He felt embarrassed as he thought about his behavior earlier. Even Zane Martel was stunned when he heard the result.
Are you sure it's not a mistake?
The two members cupped their hands and said respectfully,
Senior, our instruments are very accurate. Generally speaking, we don't make mistakes.
Zane Martel frowned and felt that it was incredible. Not long ago, his willpower energy was only at the transcendent level. However, within a short period of time, he had crossed the entry soul level and reached the wandering soul level. The level of willpower ranks from the ordinary level, to the extraordinary level, to the transcendent level, to the entry soul level, wandering soul level, to the blue soul level, to the celestial soul level, to the saint soul level, to the great soul level, then to the chaotic level. It should be noted that the improvement in willpower level was dozens of times more difficult than the improvement in the advanced level. It was incredible that his willpower had improved so much in such a short period of time.
Could it be because of my previous mental mutation?
He really could not figure out why his willpower strength was so strong. In the end, he could only think it was because of his mental mutation. Originally, the spiritual variation that happened to human warriors was rare, and only 1 in 10,000 could wake up from a deep sleep. Even to this day, Zane Martel did not know that in his mind, that ball of willpower energy had turned from being split into 8. This was the reason why his willpower had suddenly improved by leaps and bounds. After Zane Martel confirmed it, he nodded and walked into the passageway. Seeing this, Brandon Hayes naturally would not waste this opportunity to get close to Zane Martel.
Lai, wait, no, Master Lai. Why don't I introduce the rules of the Alchemy Conference to you?
That would be great, thank you, Master Brandon Hayes.
Zane Martel smiled and nodded. Seeing this, Brandon Hayes' eyes lit up and he was overjoyed. This was a great opportunity to make friends with a master alchemist. How could he let the opportunity go?
No problem at all.
Then Brandon Hayes began to explain. It turned out that the alchemists participating in the Alchemy Conference were from all over the northern Demon. More than 10,000 alchemists. However, not every alchemist had the right to participate in the true Alchemy Conference. They had to go through an audition. Only the finalists can carry out the next round of tests. After rounds of tests, the final victor would become the champion of this Alchemy Conference. The champion of the Alchemy Conference would be invited to join the Alchemist Association and be given a pill recipe for a Tier 5 pill. The common pill prescription might not be precious, but a Tier 5 pill was extremely valuable. A Tier 5 pill could easily cost hundreds of thousands of crystals, and its prescription would be even more valuable. Entering through the passage was a huge space. The square was round and there were countless seats on both sides. At a glance, one could tell that it was the audience. At this moment, more than 100,000 people had already taken their seats. They were all very excited and were discussing with each other. As his eyes swept across the wide square, he found that there were more than 10,000 square tables made of green stone. They were well proportioned and neat. At first glance, they stood still like well-trained bluestone soldiers. In the center of the square, there were already quite a number of alchemists who went to draw their numbers. They stood in front of the green stone square and quietly waited for the event to begin.
Master Lai, this way, please.
Brandon Hayes led the way in front and took Zane Martel to draw their numbers.
Number 556.
Zane Martel looked at his number plate and spoke in a faint voice.
Master Lai, come this way. What a coincidence. I happen to be number 558. Come on, I'll bring you to your pill refining platform.
Brandon Hayes was very enthusiastic. Soon after, the two of them passed by a special seat. There were around a dozen or so of them, separating them from the ordinary audience seats. Zane Martell stopped and watched for a while. Seeing this, Brandon Hayes hurriedly explained.
This is prepared for the senior members of the Alchemist Association, as well as a relatively famous alchemist of the Northern Demon Country. They will be the judges of this alchemy conference.
Zane Martell nodded, after which he walked toward the known 556 pill refining platform. Not long after, more and more alchemists entered the square. Some renowned alchemists also began to appear in front of everyone's eyes.
Look, that's an alchemist from the Tang family's Chamber of Commerce.
Zane Martell looked in the direction of the voice and discovered that an old man and a young man had entered the tunnel. The old man was about 70 or 80 years old. He was in the 7th level advanced level. His face was full of wrinkles like a withered leaf. He stood with his hands clasped behind his back, completely ignoring the people who were welcoming him. He walked over expressionlessly. The other person was only in his early 20s. He was in high spirits and seemed to enjoy the admiration of others. He had a grin on his face, but at the same time, he was arrogant. After drawing the number plate, he walked to his designated pill refining platform and sat down.
Grandmaster Lai, Trevor Collins, is the alchemist of the Tang family. He is a disciple of the Tang family. It's said that his alchemy skills are inherited from Master Griffith.
Master Griffith? Is he famous?
Zane Martell's brows furrowed and he asked,
Grandmaster Lai, you have just arrived in Qing Continent, and it's understandable that you might not know that Master Griffith is one of the top alchemist masters in Qing Continent. He is a 5th grade alchemist. This time, the Alchemist Association has invited Master Griffith to be a judge.
Sure enough, Master Griffith, who was in his 70s or 80s, walked straight over and sat down in the judges' seats before resting his eyes. Gradually, almost all alchemists participated in the alchemy conference were present. After the introduction of Brandon Hayes, Zane Martell gained quite a bit of knowledge. Suddenly, there was an uproar in the crowd. At the entrance, a group of about a dozen people in strange uniforms came in. 3 people stood in the middle of the group. They were 2 men and 1 woman. A young and handsome man with a feminine appearance smiled and waved while greeting the people he passed by. The young and beautiful woman was tall and slim, dressed in a luxurious brocade robe. Her expression was cold, but her features looked gorgeous. As soon as she appeared, countless young men and even middle-aged men were attracted to her. They glued their gazes on her in a rampant manner, revealing lustful looks. The other man was in his 50s with black and white hair. He frowned and stood with his hands clasped behind his back, exuding the aura of the expert level. He was apparently an alchemist in the expert level. More than 10 guards clustered around the trio. They were also alchemists above the 6th stage of the advanced level. A strange pattern was embroidered on their chests, like a snake or a tiger. In the middle of the pattern was a drop of scarlet blood. They were from the Demon God sect.
The Demon God sect. Look, they're from the Demon God sect. They're here.
King Pill. From the looks of it, they're determined to get it.
Someone also recognized the Demon God sect, and the crowd soon burst into a discussion.
That handsome young man should be the genius alchemist of the Demon God sect, Victor Chen, right?
Then that icy beauty with a threatening aura must be Chloe Thompson. With 2 alchemy geniuses here, they will surely be crowned champion.
That's right. Wait, that's not right. Didn't the rumors say the Demon God sect would dispatch 3 genius alchemists? Why are there only 2 of them? Where's the other one?
Don't you know that the 3rd genius is called Qian?
Qian, that rings a bell.
Where have I heard of it? Wait, are you talking about the same Qian who Zane Martell killed in the Kangmu arena?
The individual instantly reacted and gasped in shock. The person next to him hurriedly reminded him in a low voice.
Shh. Keep your voice down and don't let anyone hear you.
Suddenly, the middle-aged man in the expert level standing next to Victor Chen and Chloe Thompson looked at these 2 people in the crowd with a hint of killing intent.
Zane Martell didn't show up even though I'd sent someone to ambush him at the gate of the Divine Hawk camp for such a long time. It seems he was hiding because he knew we would get even with him.
There were more than a dozen people in the Demon God sect group. No matter where they went, the crowd around them would make way for them and look at them with fear. Currently in the northern demon country, everyone knew the demon god sect was the strongest, controlling almost the entire northern demon country's resources. Even the pseudo-royal family was groomed and raised by the demon god sect. Therefore, no one dared to offend any individual from the demon god sect.
Porus. Kian's alchemy skills weren't that outstanding. Even without him, the prize for the champion this time, the martial-breaking pill, will also fall into my hands. However, it is enough to say that Zane Martel's strength is not to be underestimated since he was able to kill Kian. Unfortunately, he killed someone he shouldn't have killed, so he must die. Porus, I'll have to trouble you.
Yes, I understand. Zane Martel must die, and we will take down the Divine Hawk Camp together too. The Northern Demon Country is destined to belong to our demon god sect.
The man named Porus, who was in the expert level, seemed to be inferior to Victor Chen. He did not dare to disobey Victor Chen and nodded slightly. Victor Chen's background must not be underestimated if he could command a master in the expert level. In short, he was not ordinary. However, Zane Martel only had one thought about the group standing before him. He wanted to ask them where his father, Ezekiel Martel, was hiding. Soon, almost all alchemists participating in the alchemy conference had gathered around. At this time, Master Rovan Guhe and Gary Sombers walked in from another passage. There were also several figures Zane Martel could not recognize who walked in with the two. From the looks of it, they should be the renowned alchemists that Brandon Hayes had mentioned. They walked to the judges' seats. Master Griffith, who had been different all this while, stood up and cupped his fists to greet the group before sitting down again. Master Rovan Guhe stood there. Although his voice was hoarse, it was deafening as he announced something.
The 78th round of the Alchemy Conference officially begins now. We will proceed with the first round of the test, which is also the preliminary.
Master Rovan Guhe announced to the eager crowd gathered in the Seven Star Square.
On the Greenstone Alchemy platform, where your number is, a spiritual herb is randomly placed. What you need to do is to refine the spiritual herb. The more refinement, the better result you get. Those among the top 2,000 will pass the first round.
As he spoke, hundreds of Alchemist Association members walked out from the inner passageway of the Seven Stars Square. They were the selected inspection officers responsible for supervision and monitoring if any cheating behavior occurred during the process.
The first round begins. You have 1 hour.
Master Rovan Guhe announced and initiated the first round. As soon as his voice fell, tens of thousands of alchemists standing in the square immediately started working. Zane Martel checked his own green stone alchemy platform. A palm-sized elixir furnace and a green jade box were placed on the platform. When he opened the jade box, he saw a piece of vine about the size of a palm lying inside.
Is it the ancient spirit branch?
Zane Martel was startled. The ancient spirit branch wasn't a rare spiritual medicine, but it wasn't easy to refine either. One would easily waste the herb if the flame temperature weren't adequately controlled. The so-called refinement process was to burn precious natural materials above the alchemy fire, roast them, and condense the medicinal effects of the spiritual herbs. The more refined, the more concentrated the essence. One could refine a good or even perfect medicinal pill by then. However, the higher the refined level, the more difficult the process would be. Generally speaking, for an ordinary alchemist, it was already the limit to refine something to the 5th level.
Damn it. I have to refine the Tetragonu out of this. It's too difficult.
Damn it. Mine is even more difficult. I have to refine the Denotalco liquid. Do you want to exchange it with me?
Only fools will exchange with you. I won't do that.